Okay, our next speaker is Wetline Wildfire Defense. The founder, Mike Yavitovich, is here, right? Yeah? Okay. So now this company does full service, so they'll do a threat assessment of your, of your residence, and then offer services to help home harden, including roof sprinklers, which was an option that a lot of you were interested in. So I hope Mike will touch on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Mike Yavitovich here to represent Wetlline, actually a Los Angeles-based company. We're based in West Los Angeles. We are based in West Los Angeles, and this is Chief Patrick Rice, who has trained me to know everything about fire and firefighting that I know today. I learned from Patrick, and he's one of our main consultants that we work with on our projects. Just a little bit about Wetlline. I am a veteran contractor. I've been contracting in general construction and also a painting contractor for over 30 years. I got into Wetlline because I was working for a high-profile celebrity many years ago who lost their house in a wildfire. And my background in construction is I had a retail store. So with a retail store, I used to go to all the construction and trade shows all across the United States looking for materials and looking for different things. And when I was working for this celebrity who lost their house in a wildfire, a gentleman named Craig Weeks came to install a sprinkler system on her roof. And I was fascinated because I've never seen anything like it before. And having been in the business my whole life and understanding these trade shows, I wondered why people weren't having discussions about home hardening. It just didn't make any sense after year of watching these devastating wildfires. Craig was a veteran, 25-year veteran of L.A. County. He designed and built all the fire equipment for Los Angeles County for 25 years. Craig saw a big fire that burned through Los Angeles, and he saw the swimming pools that were left there and wanted to do something about that. So he was the actual inventor and navigator of Wetlline as it got started. Craig developed a system that would suck the water out of the pool with a fire pump and spray it onto the property. Craig met Patrick behind me, and they figured out a way to get a fire suppressant in this system. So the fire suppressant agent would spray all over the property. And that's how Wetlline really began. I met up with these guys and on a project that Craig was doing for this celebrity, and I was fascinated, and I took all my 30 plus years of construction experience and redefine Wetlline into a company that does complete home hardening from vents to paint, fire suppressant paint, to a sprinkler system, defensible space, window laminates. You know, people don't understand that glass breaks at a certain temperature and things fly into your house through these wind events that we're having. And so we have window laminates. So we have a company that does complete home hardening and complete home assessments. We'll come out and look at your property and evaluate it and give you a fire history, fire behavior, fire analysis of what's going on in your area and how a fire is going to attack your home and treat your home. One of the specific things about Wetlline is that we use biodegradable products. We use products that are plant friendly, animal friendly. It was something that we really were interested in, having products that wouldn't harm your pet, your children, or harm your environment. And that's something that people really ask a lot about, and that's what I brought Patrick up here for today, because people always want to understand what products do you guys use in your paint and in your sprinkler systems. They want to understand what these things are, what they're going to be having on their property. And so Patrick's going to talk a little bit about that. But first I want to get into that since we were boots on the ground in the Palisades fire, and our experience from that fire out of the 200 plus homes we treated was only 10 houses out of that group of houses that we did had ember resistant vents. 10 houses out of the 260 plus houses that we treated had vents. If people had just taken a little bit of time and cleaned up their yards and kept their yards maintained and had vents on their home alone, just that by itself, the number of loss that would have been reduced would have been astronomical. Out of those houses that we saw, the poor maintained landscape, the just years of clutter around your houses. You know, one of the things that we did was we cleaned up people's yards when we were out treating houses. We were pulling weeds and dead brush so that once we sprayed with our products, we sprayed the house and the yard because we do emergency services, that there wasn't things there that could be ignited. So I think that the power to save your home is in your hands. And as you guys could see during these Palisades and Altadena fires, it's really up to you to take action, because the chances of getting help these days are getting slim to none, as from what we're starting to see. Water systems fail, not enough manpower to help. And these are realities. And as Southern California gets more populated, you've got to take things into your own hands, and you got to do some kind of treatments to your houses. And they don't need to be complex or complicated, but there are things that you can do as homeowners to make simple approaches and simple strokes to take care of your property right away. So I want to bring Patrick on now to talk a little bit about Wildfire, the products that we use.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Patrick Reitz. I am a consultant, if you will. I'm also a practicing fire chief. We have less than 3 minutes to give you the whole rundown. I would encourage you to come visit us over at the Wetlline booth to have these conversations. However, we do use Wildfire, we use Fire Block, we use Dry One. All of these products that we use are non-toxic biodegradables, plant and water-based. They are considered non-toxic with application. We can put them in and under your paint and stains. We put them through our sprinkler systems. Each one has its own individual application. I'm not here to get into all of that. We don't have that kind of time. But what I am here to tell you is to make sure that you're researching, that you're doing your due diligence. Some of you don't even know what questions to ask, and we can help you with that, guide you through that process. Wetline is an all-encompassing licensed general contractor. You'll find a lot of the sprinkler contractors out there aren't licensed. They're not licensed to do wildland fire, perimeter defense sprinklers. No one is. That license does not exist in the state of California. We're finding landscapers that are pushing these systems. We're finding plumbers that are pushing these systems. But when you get into it, we ask them the science behind their system, and they don't have a science. So make sure that you're researching who's doing your work, what they're doing. Our systems are autonomous. We want as much hands-off and remove as much human interaction that's going to cause your system to fail as we possibly can. We don't rely on the local utilities. We try not to rely on the local water because we don't want to take water away from the firefighters. That's all important stuff that some of your folks, that your freelancers out there that all sprung up after the Palisades fires, they don't care. They're trying to make a sale. We're not trying to make a sale. We're trying to make it safe, and we're trying to make it smart. We want you to evacuate when you're told to evacuate and have some reliability and have some confidence that your house is going to be there when you return, because you've taken the steps to abate, to get the ember-resistant vents, to do the roofing, to do the coatings on your house that we can make your house fire-resistive, to look at the sprinkler systems with the introduced product. Water alone, don't be the guy with the wife beater t-shirt and the flip-flops wasting our firefighters' water standing on a roof, watering a roof that doesn't need watered. That does nothing to help prevent fire, and it puts yourselves in danger. Look at the systems, be realistic, and understand there's a cost to all of this. And you need to determine the cost within that of your family and your household. And my time is up. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
So our next speaker, Citrotech, our mighty fire breakers, was an exciting product that we found out through our board member, Ken York, who owns the vineyard at the top of the hill. And I'm very excited to hear about how this product is different from the other things in the market. It's had a great success down in San Diego with the fire department. I'm hoping maybe I can encourage L.A.F.D to test it. So anyway, I'm going to pass it over, but I want to remind you one more time, all these vendors have booths. So please go by there and ask your questions. That's where the questions are going to get answered. Okay? Thank you. All yours.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'll try to spare the accent, okay? Oh, I've been in California since 75. I lost my accent. But, so I'm a California dude. I invented the product because I have a hard time saying it. My father, my best friend, died from cancer, from toxic chemical. Got it out. My best friend. So, in the wildfire business, it's the wild, wild west. Anybody can say they're non-toxic, environmentally friendly, human and animal safe. But until you have third-party accreditation to prove it, don't believe it. In other words, why don't you have EPA safer choice? Why don't you have 90 days of them getting under your grill on the constituents in your product? Why don't you have UL Green Guard Gold telling you it's safe around children and in schools, zero VOCs? Why don't you have it? The head chemist from the EPA says because they won't pass. We want to know that it doesn't kill minnows. We want to know it doesn't kill salmon and trout like the stuff the U.S. Forest Service is dumping all over our planet. This product is the safest fire chemistry the world's ever known. By the grace of God, I invented it because of my dad. And you know it's going to be safe around your house, but guess what else? It'll stop a fire faster than any product out there sprayed proactively on vegetation. Longer. No such thing as long-term fire retardants. That's a sham. It's there until the sprinklers wash it off, and it's there until it's rained off. But when you have a product that's so safe, you don't even need a mask, and you can spray it on your grapevines, and you can spray it on your vegetation, and spray it underneath the hedges where the embers will fly in. And when you spray in the base of your house 6 inches out, where the embers fall, because the rest of your garden's being sprinklered, it's really easy to get proactive. Our campaign is about getting proactive safer. Don't hurt my dogs. Don't hurt my grandkids. Don't hurt my mother who has has an immune disorder. We got to worry about chemical drift. We don't need more toxins in our environment. We're done. We don't need more lead paints. We don't need more AFFFF foam. How many firefighters have been affected by AFFFF foam? Who improved that? Who approved it? Enough is enough. All I'm saying is no matter what product you're going to use, if it says it can do this and do this, and it says it's safe and environmentally friendly, just say, prove it. Show me. Because this is what insurance underwriters are going to start asking for, proof. Because they don't want to get wrapped in now that we're using chemicals around houses to reduce their risk. We're going to show you a couple of demos today. So I have an ATV over here with a skid, and I have San Diego Fire Marshal Tony Toshka over here. Tony's spraying with this device homeless communities in San Diego, homeless encampments, to eliminate the fires. They cause a lot of fires. The chemical's safe enough to move the community out, spray everything in the community, and let them move back in. You can't do that with all chemicals. There's somebody's kid living in that community. And Tony, thank you for doing that, pal. He's also out spraying the side of roads and basically to make roadways safer. We need the government to support spraying the sides of roads to make them safer. Can you imagine the roads coming up here if we can make them safer during gridlock and wildfire exiting? It's doable. We're going to watch Will, who's a former linesman firefighter, out there spraying up into a dead tree with a skid to reduce its risk from an ember attack and canopy fire next to a structure. Go ahead, Will. This is how easy it is. But don't forget, What he's spraying is 100% food grade. This product, if you sprayed it on a piece of lumber, you could do an international ASTM test, making the lumber Class A, measuring ignition time, fires advance, and reduction of smoke. If all fire chemistries were made to do that test, most of them wouldn't pass it. Even the ones the U.S. Forest Service uses wouldn't pass. We need real science behind testing, behind claims in the wild, wild west of anything goes and anything can be said. All right, thank you, Will. We have another little demo in the back there, which is basically a system. We do a lot of these systems off the sides of slopes. If you look up around these hills, and the fire was burning from the bottom up, kicking a little wind, that house is gone. Doesn't have to be that way anymore. We live in a different world today. Fires is a reality. You could put a sprinkler system off the side of that slope. When you're told to evacuate, we want you to leave early. Help the firefighters, get out, but remotely activate your system. If you're in Hawaii and you hear there's a fire coming, activate your system. So those systems can be activated from an iPhone. We'll activate a system. You have the generator going out there. What we're saying is we have systems all over California, from San Diego. We're doing systems all the way up to Yellowstone, Montana, Jackson Hole, Tahoe, Incline Village. We are basically putting systems all around, hoping the insurance underwriters will finally pay attention to a safer chemistry with remote activation. Is like adding an airbag to a house. Safe chemistry, deployed, bone dry, blocks vegetation. You forgot to turn the generator on. Okay. What we're saying there is you got a small little tank. This chemical, you could have a 1,000-gallon tank. You could have a 135-gallon tank, 275-gallon tank. Sitting there for 10 years, you will never, ever have to stir it or blend it. It doesn't fall out like all the other chemicals. It'll sit there as clear as water and never has to be stirred, never falls out. That's why we can bury tanks and put 5-mile-long wildfire defense systems in. Chemical fire breaks. When the chemicals bone dry, the science behind it, the accreditation behind it says it'll block ignition, block fires advance, bone dry on even pine needles. I'd like to have Chief Bowman come up. Fire Chief Bowman, retired, 35-year retired fire chief, calls me up one day and says, I saw you in the news and I'm your biggest skeptic. I said, you're all skeptics. Let's have coffee. That was about 8 years ago. Now he's one of my best friends. A lot of fire officials are skeptics. But we can prove to them with science that anything we do, we're not firefighters, but anything we do, we're out to make things safer for them because they put their lives on the line to save our homes. And we want to thank them. So whatever we can do as builders, installing systems, we hope it makes their life safer going out. Chief Bowman, what do you think about this product?
Well, Steve pretty well covered the product, and I wholeheartedly agree with everything that he said. My biggest challenge, at least working with them as a consultant, is to encourage fire departments and homeowners to change the way we're approaching the wildfire problem. Have we been successful in any major fire that you've seen in California in the last 50 years? No. We keep doing fire departments, and I was guilty too. I didn't know about this product when I was a fire chief, but I do now, and I'm trying to get the word out that unless we change the way we approach wildfires, we're never going to be successful fighting them. LA Fire Department's one of the biggest in the world. Good staffing, good equipment for the most part. And they could not even put a dent in the Palisades fire. It just consumed, as you all know. The same thing could happen here, and they would again be in trouble trying to defend these homes. The best recipe for success, in my humble opinion, is for you as homeowners to investigate what it takes to protect your home. Do not depend on the fire department getting there in time. There aren't enough stations in any city in America to battle a wildfire like the one you saw here in January. There just aren't enough. So you either take it into your own hands and try to do something, or you're at the risk of doing nothing. You'll get probably nothing done. And that's not the solution. So I'm encouraging fire departments all up and down the state, all over the West, to investigate this product. But I'm more diligently, I'm trying to get homeowners to recognize their role in fire prevention and to take action now before it's too late.
You bet.
You bet.
Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is another fire coating company, and they come from Australia, but they're here locally now, and their product is now being distributed through Ace Hardware. So Flame Security International, the product is Fire Coat, and Singh will be coming up to speak to us. Where is he? Oh, yay!
Thank you.
Right here?
That's perfect. Thank you. We'll go ahead and get this.
Do you want a firefighter up here?
No, we're going to take care of it.
Okay.
We're out.
The microphone.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for attending this fantastic event. Thank you so much, Sheila and team, for putting it on. My name's Singh. I'm a local artist here in L.A. I make fire-resistant paintings. All right, just kidding. I wanted to try. Like Sheila said, I'm representing Flame Security International out of Australia. I lost my beautiful accent after being in the States for so long. And Flame Security International came about from government investment in Australia. So in Australia, they had what's called Black Summer, massive fires, destroyed thousands of homes, ruined millions of lives, really. And in response to that, the government turned around and invested heavily in universities, in research, and in groups like Flame Security International to solve this problem. And so Fire Coat is an interior and exterior primer. The exterior primer can take over an hour of direct flame attack. It's used broadly in Australia, and there it's what's called Bushfire Attack Level 40. So they have a rating system called the Bushfire Attack Level. It's essentially a way for them to measure and show how much heat and how much fire attack something can actually take. Our product, our exterior paint, is the only product in Australia to get the Bushfire Attack Level 40 rating. And as far as here in the US, it's ASTM 84 rated, so it is a Class A product. And most importantly, the thing that's come up over and over again with contractors and with homeowners is that it's extremely easy to use. Intumescent paints are not new. Intumescent paints have been around for decades. It's just that they used to be a lot more annoying, and they used to primarily be utilized for steel. With Fire Coat, it's literally like applying any other water-based paint. You're going to use it as a primer. You're going to top coat it with whatever color you like, and you're going to have an extreme level of fire protection. It's exactly what we're going to show you here. So we're going to go ahead and do a demonstration so you can actually check this out, because really the proof is in the pudding, and that's been the game for Flame Security International. Being a company that came out of a university, testing, toxicity, all of those, safety, all of those things come first for us. And so we're continuing to work with fire departments here in California. We're continuing to work with universities here in California, and essentially doing whatever we can to prove the efficacy of our product. I'm mainly going to use our time for our demonstration and questions. I have my partner Reggie right here, ready to put this on blast. I'm going to get off the stage so that way he can do that, and so I can also capture it a little bit. And then after, I'll go ahead and open it up to questions, and yeah, go from there. All right, Reggie, give me 1 second. What was that? Alrighty. So this panel here has 2 coats of fire coat. You can brush it, you can roll it. I think in this case it was rolled. If you were to spray it, it would be a flat finish. You can apply it to essentially any exterior surface, stucco, concrete, brick, steel, you name it, come ask me. I'd love to see if it actually works, if we haven't already covered it. All right, Reggie, blast it up for us. So this is a plumbing torch. I think it burns around 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. So probably more extreme than most fires hitting your home, but let's see how the product handles it. As you can see, that black product you're seeing, that is that intumescent coating. That char layer essentially comes out and stops the fire from penetrating to the substrate. So it's actually preventing ignition of your home and of the material that it's painted on. After the fire, you can power wash it, you can scrub it off, and you're good to go. You can just repaint your house, and ideally everything inside is safe and exactly how you left it. Reggie, burn it again. I've gotten bored burning this stuff in my backyard. I've done this for like half an hour, and eventually my wrist hurts. But yeah, the real magic of it is that it's just preventing you from actually getting to that fuel. When we've done this test with CAL FIRE, where we've built actual California-like structures, and we've blasted them with flamethrowers on all 3 sides, the inside temperature of that building didn't go up more than 7 or 8 degrees. And that was after 30 minutes of direct flame attack with flamethrowers on every side. So it's got some really fantastic insulated properties. Keep going, Reggie. Let's see, you know, see how long we can go. Yeah, more fire, exactly. As much fire as we can get.
I believe you can take a whole bottle if you wanted to.
Yeah, I think we might run out of fuel. I've run out of fuel a couple times. So yeah, extremely easy to use product. Any painting contractor can paint it and apply it for you. It's sold at Ace Hardware. You can also buy it from us directly. Yeah, pretty simple paint. That's just highly fire resistant. We can keep burning it back at our desk just to kind of give everyone else time and opportunity. But are there any questions from? Yep. The question is, if she's just recently painted her house, can she mix in the color of her choice and repaint her house to have it be the appropriate color? Did I get that right? Got it. So you can tint this primer. You would have to work with us directly in order for us to tint it for you or get you the mix in to be able to do that. Ideally, what we would like you to do is to use this as a primer and then apply the top coat on top of it. But that being said, I totally understand the circumstances of having just done that work. So if you tell us what color it is, we can get the proper mix in from Australia so that way it can be tinted. We've had to do that previously for Disney as well as for Koppers, which is like a power line manufacturer. So it's not that we can't tint it. It's that right now our product is manufactured in Australia. That means it comes in 4-liter and 10-liter units. And Ace doesn't have the mixing system for those sizes of cans. We're switching to U.S. manufacturing, and we should have that set up by September or October. So in the future, you should be able to tint it and get it to whatever color you want. But for now, you'd have to work, unfortunately, through Reggie and I. So we don't bite, though. We're pretty nice. Happy to help. Yep. The question is, how environmentally safe is it? So it is non-toxic. Australia does have really strong guidelines around those things, and so the product has been built and manufactured to those standards, as well as the standards for the state of California. One of the co-founders jokingly likes to always say that he can eat it, like that's how non-toxic it is, and he's done it 2 or 3 times. He's dipped a finger and eaten it. I would not recommend that, so please don't do that, but next time he comes from Australia, I'll get a video so that way I can use that in the future. Yep.
Last question.
Oh, last question.
Say last question.
Last question. The question is, does it come in any other colors? So the exterior comes in a light gray by default, and that can take pretty extreme fire attack. The interior is a nice flat white color. That one can take less fire attack, but the experiment that I always point to that we did is we put an IKEA couch inside of a building that represents a California structure. We put a lit cigarette. I mean, we don't smoke cigarettes anymore. It's probably a candle now. But we put a lit cigarette on that couch, and that couch ignited and fully burned up. It took over 30, 40 minutes for that couch to completely disintegrate, and there was no damage to the roof or to any of the side walls. And so that interior is still totally worth it as a form of protection. That's going to be white. And like I said, this is going to be light gray. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. We'll take questions at our booth. Please come visit us. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. So again, one of the steps and one of the pillars of the Fire Safe Council is home hardening, and FireCo is one of those ways to harden your home.
Okay, our last speaker, and then we're going to stay open for until 3, just so you have time to mill around. And then we need to be out of this park at 4, just to let you know. So we'll have, shut down, and people will be transporting their canopies and everything out. And Rec and Park is here. They generously gave us these canopies and the tables and the chairs. They were amazing, and set it up this morning at 6:15 while I watched. Okay, supervised. That's nice. Okay, so Angel City Lumber is our last speaker. The founder is Jeff Perry. He's here to speak to you about a little bit about what they're doing with some of the wood that has been falling or was burned in the fires. Instead of it being wasted, he's put it to great use in LA's only wood mill, right? Correct? Yeah, in Boyle Heights. Okay, here you go. Here's Jeff.
Afternoon, everybody. Thanks for being here. Angel City Lumber we're a sawmill. Did anyone realize that there was a sawmill in Los Angeles? Yeah, most people are like, I had no idea. We're a sawmill in Boyle Heights. And before I get into why we're at all relevant to wildfire preparedness, I'm just going to briefly say what we do generally. So we are a sawmill. However, we are a sawmill that only mills tree logs from Los Angeles County. So we source our tree logs from Los Angeles County only. We bring the tree logs to our facility in Boyle Heights. We mill the lumber, we kiln dry the lumber, we fabricate end products, and we sell these products back to Los Angeles County only end users. So it's a really local driven sawmill. So that's roughly what we do. We work primarily with a lot of architects, landscape architects, design studios. They specify our material in their set of drawings. We custom mill for that project. And then we also have our own inventory that people can purchase as well. Every piece of wood in our mill, if you go over and you start looking at our products and different pieces of wood, every single piece of wood has the species of the tree and what neighborhood or city in Los Angeles County it is from. That is for us to perform our mission, which is essentially to reconnect humans, Angelinos, I should say, to their natural surroundings. We all love trees. Everyone does. I don't know anyone that doesn't love trees, but we love them when they're standing, and when they fall, as they are inevitably going to do, they become a bit of a nuisance or a problem. And instead of viewing a tree as a problem, our whole existence is essentially to say, we would like your tree to live on, have its legacy live on in a positive light. I have nothing against mulch. There's a lot of people here that are in the business of mulch, and mulch is great. However, I don't think it's its highest use, its most honorable use from a tree. So if you all have a tree in your neighborhood or your park that you thoroughly enjoy and feel connected to, Imagine when that tree dies, utilizing the wood from that tree. Okay, so that's what we do. Great. What about wildfire preparedness? What does that have to do with anything? So because we see ourselves as a community business, as a Los Angeles business, we are always talking about it. We're always saying how we are Los Angeles, Los Angeles, Los Angeles. Well, when disasters happen in Los Angeles, we're like, okay, well, if we're going to tout ourselves as a Los Angeles business, we need to be there for Los Angeles when things have not gone our way. We've worked with, primarily in Altadena, we've worked with the Army Corps of Engineers and their subcontractors to say, hold on, these trees that are being removed, can you bring these to the debris site and let them stay at the debris site? Let us try to figure out how we can find an auxiliary space to mill all of these trees into lumber for Altadenans as they go to rebuild. So now we're on a 4-year mission. We've talked to the Army Corps. They are now setting aside these logs. We have a storage space. Now we're looking for a milling space. And essentially what we're going to do over the next 4 years is mill finished grade millwork lumber from all of these trees, regardless of species. We're going to mill 6/4 by 12-inch wide boards. And we're going to have them available for sale at a 40% discount from typical finished grade lumber market value for Altadenans who are rebuilding. As a way to have these trees continue to take care of their community, for sure, and also to help draw people into thinking about a tree has so much love given to it when it's alive, and also it can continue to do so as it perishes. Just a couple of other things I want to talk about in relation to your community. So one of the reasons I believe that we're here to share what we do is to say, as you are, I know from an ecological standpoint, people have been talking about certain trees are best staying, certain trees are best being removed. I just want to go on record as saying, as far as we are concerned, all trees standing is the best, okay? People are like, oh, you guys are in lumber. You probably want all the trees to come down. No, that's nothing further from the case. Our urban canopy, we believe, is the most important thing to our community. So we are saying that if and when trees do come down, then please keep us in mind to utilize the lumber. They're from a process standpoint, you can contact us if you have a tree that is either coming down or has already come down. You can donate your tree to Angel City Lumber to say, maybe I don't have a use for the wood yield from this tree, but I just don't want it to get mulched. Please continue to do your job. Or you can also request our services of, hey, I would really love the wood yield from my tree. I was very connected to my tree. What can you do? Ask us to consult on what best use case applications per species there are. A lot of people in our culture don't look at a jacaranda or a coast live oak or a Peruvian pepper and say, oh, wow, there's wood in that tree. We think of these as decoratives or ornamentals, right? And we think of the lumber that we are normally used to seeing in a commercial setting as that's the kind of wood that there is. But I can assure you that all of the trees, native and non-native, that have been planted in LA County have arrived here because they're resilient and because some civilization somewhere at some time built themselves around that species. So they have use, all of them, okay? We just might need to pinpoint what the exact best use is. I believe that covers all the bases. If there are any questions, I have one other thing actually I want to say. at the risk of having everyone be like, oh, that's really cute. That's really cute. You guys are making, we have charcuterie boards over there. That's awesome. Oh, that's really nice. Great. However, we as a county mulch more than we consume in wood. So just to give you, just to bend your brain for a second, Los Angeles County consumes about 2.64 billion board feet a year. Okay, and that's not sheet goods. That's not, that's lumber, construction grade, furniture grade, millwork, finished grade, etc. We mulch more than 3 billion board feet of lumber in a year. And just let that sink in for a second. As we go to rebuild communities that are rebuilding after natural disasters or even just normal building, we import all of our lumber from Pacific Northwest, Canada, Central America, Asia, Southeast Asia, the Baltics. I mean, everywhere else except where our trees grow. So, again, I say that to drive home the point. We are actually a viable service for lumber as a way to say thank you to the trees that give themselves to us all of the time. Thank you. Any questions, let me know. Yes? Oh, great question. Boy, do I get this a lot. Are palm trees millable? The answer is no. I'm sorry. They're not quite, they don't have the lignin content enough. It's technically a grass. They really blow up. There have been tales, I've never tried it, that Canary Island date palm actually can be milled. But I don't know. But we haven't had, we haven't found a use for palm trees. Yes. Cypress, yes. Well, cypress, same question, cypress. Cypress is actually a tried and true fantastic exterior wood. There's a lot of different kinds of cypress. If you're talking Italian cypress, are you talking Italian cypress? Okay. If it's massively tall and conical, that's around here, it's probably an Italian cypress. If they're old enough and the diameter is large enough and you can get some lumber yield out of them, that's a good size. It's fantastically bug resilient. It's resilient to fungus. It's beautiful. Cypress is a really excellent exterior wood. Yeah. Yes, sir. Great question. Do we coat our lumber with any kind of fire retardant products? We do not. We sell our lumber raw. And there are times when our flooring will pre-finish, but typically our lumber is just, wood that has been kiln dried, no chemicals, nothing. It's just like, boom, here's the wood. But to your point, they can certainly be coated with all kinds of, like there were people today, but they're certainly up for that. They'll accept all, stains, finishes, retardants of all kinds. Yep. Just to give you a quick example of one particular species, let's say. There's a lot of species that people are like, well, you can't use that, right? You'd be surprised. There really aren't many that we can't use, one of which is eucalyptus, which I know, again, ecologically, people are like, we got to not plant them anymore. See you later, guys. Well, the wood is fantastic. So if you know of people with eucalyptus trees that they're removing or being taken down or have fallen, we have some flooring set up over there that is just gorgeous. If you ask any Aussies, if there are any Aussies here, if eucalyptus is a good material for wood, they'll tell you, yes, it's fantastic. Okay, I think that's it. All right, thanks. Thank you.
Okay, everybody. Thanks for hanging in there till 2 o'clock. Some of the vendors will stay until 3. especially because I want to talk to some of them. I've been up here all day and I want to find out a little bit more information. So before we say goodbye, I just want to leave you the message. Please take what you've learned and put it to use. The whole point of this is to do something, anything, but do something. There's that sheet once again, top 10 things to do that are very inexpensive. It was written by MySafe LA. We print it on with our logo out there so that you get it one page, a really quick draft, take it home, study it. It's very easy. It could be as simple as taking out the mulch and replacing it with gravel. Closing those roof vents, instead of a 1/4-inch mesh, go with the 1/8-inch mesh. Those are not expensive items to do. So you do that, you'll be home hardening. Let us know what you're doing so we can get the credit for it and create a fire-wise area. If we do that, we will get a discount on insurance for all of us homeowners. We will also be sure to let the insurance companies know so they don't cancel us. So that's the really thing that we're working hard to do. But most of all, you're doing what is best for your community. So I want to thank you once again for giving us your afternoon. I know time is precious and you've given us a very big investment, and we hope we gave you something to think about and something to do. So once again, we're it. And then we've got Charles Malky and we've got Captain Brandon Taulli to say another goodbye. Come up. Yay, Cap.
Thank you. Thank you. I know it's been a long day for everybody, but I want to take this brief moment to recognize two special people in our community. They've made a true difference, Sheila and Charles. Thank you. Let's give them a hand. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Their dedication, hard work, and tireless commitment have not gone unnoticed, whether it's stepping up when things are tough or quietly working behind the scenes, taking their own personal time to help this community is truly heartwarming. They both show up with heart, integrity, and with purpose. And we are incredibly lucky to have both of them. And I just wanted to say, Sheila, thank you. Charles, thank you for everything that you've done and what you guys have done today. Thank you again, and be safe out there, everybody.
Thank you. God, making me cry. Anyway, guys, I love you all. This is my home. This has been my home for 30 years. I'm a native Angelino. I couldn't love this community more. So you've got me here forever, fighting for us, fighting for our community to make sure that we're home hardened, we're resilient, we're going to survive anything that Mother Nature throws at us. So remember that. Take care.
Thank you all. I'm good.